Hello and welcome to another episode of the LTA Report. LTA is back, kind of. The reason I say kind of is because I don't remember the last time something like this has happened where we had an opening weekend that fell so flat. And I know it's because of the format. We have a whole discussion on format. But yeah, just not seeing FlyQuest versus Cloud9 kind of sucked. Especially since it was such a hype. It wasn't like 2018 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid, like the fastest 3-0 that has ever been in history. Like it wasn't something like that. It was so close. It was like a EQ Jarvan EQ away from like being Cloud9 victory. It was like a different pick away from finishing it off in 4. Or it was. We want to see that matchup, especially since we heard so many things about Cloud9 doing well in scrims, and FlyQuest again almost beating an Asian team. It left a lot to be desired this weekend, especially since all the games were 2-0s. There were some close games, but all the games were 2-0s, like kind of expected. So I'm not sure what the format is trying to go with. I have some theories as to why, but we'll save that for the format discussion. Travis Gafford retired, and I know he said he might still come back and do some stuff. He's going to be active in his Discord, but
Just gotta cut you off very quickly. Your mic sounds super loud. I don't know if that's on my
super
end.
loud. Okay, I'll just stay a little further away. Yeah.
Because normally it sounds like crisp, but this one sounds like it's like bass boosted almost.
Yeah, I think I was just like hugging the mic. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, Travis Gafford retires, and that is not a good sign for League of Legends. For North American League of Legends. There've been so many things that have been happening that are kind of like red flags of like, hey, we're going in the wrong direction. And Travis constantly arguing about the direction that League has been going in North America, and how, I mean, he has been the face of like content. Obviously, there's LFN, but that's more analytical. But just in general, of like, fan content. And the fact that he's been taking a step back, and whenever you look at his interviews, you look at his online league, like the engagement in North American League of Legends is just not there. And last year, he was very happy with the direction that Riot was going in, and you could even see like Split 2 or Summer Split. He was like kind of revitalized a little bit. He didn't go to MSI. Like there were certain things that you could tell he wasn't happy with, and it seemed like when Mark became commissioner and like they started doing pros, he was more excited that there was more engagement. And then this year, it just kind of crushed everything that we worked over like the past year. And I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't wait till the end of the year, but just the way it goes, like the content that's being made, it just in North American content, people just don't want. Like even for me, when I would post like an Immortals interview, it would like still get around 1,000 views. Now I can post a Team Liquid interview, and that might not even get 1,000 views. Like the amount of engagement is very, very different. Whereas the content, like it's still relatively the same. I mean, he's trying to improve his craft and whatnot. So the fact that he retires and just like, I'm just not passionate about something that's just not delivering. Something that's like kind of dying, and it's sad to see. One, like he's worked a lot in the scene, but two, it's another very big red flag when your biggest creators are all saying, hey, this isn't sustainable. That's not good.
I think a big part of that is the LTA rebranding as well. Like to be completely honest, if you think about from like a statistic point of view, like SEO point of view, it's just the LTA is not going to get the same amount of traction as you put LCS. In my recent TikToks, I've put LCS, and I'm not saying they've led to more views, but I know for a fact if I did LTA, hardly anyone is clicking on that. I know from working in like a publication, LTA traffic is on the floor. Like the amount, like it's so hard to search for LTA. Like even if you like in the UK, like before, I could search up the LCS and look up the schedule within like a second. I now have to scroll through everything or Wikipedia or something because I'm not using the Low Esports website. That's just a cesspool of garbage. So it's very difficult, and especially if someone like Travis where like the content is his livelihood, like the sponsors, the events, getting paid to go to events. Obviously, I think that started to like dry up, and I think with the LTA rebranding, it's kind of like a nail in the coffin for him, anyways.
Yeah, and I don't know if that nail in the coffin is just for him or is it just for League, like in North America. Is it just Riot has made decision after decision that has just been bad for North American League of Legends to the point where it's just it's on life support. It really does feel like it. I was very excited going into 2024, like summer split with all of the new content ideas. I even talked to Chris Greeley about it, and I was telling him like whoever is the new like director, the director of marketing, like he's been doing a great job, and we talked about some of the stuff that like I really liked that he was doing, and he was like, yeah, we're really trying to do stuff, and it feels bad that it went from a situation where like it felt like everybody from top down was working to improve this product, and then they kind of abandoned it after one split, despite the fact that we saw that it was improving. And the fan sentiment, like forget just viewership number, fan sentiment was at all-time high. People were so happy to watch League of Legends in North America, which is a feeling that we hadn't had in a long time. Now it feels the broadcast, honestly, the broadcast is a lot worse than last year. I don't know how many people actually watch like the in-between segments and like the pre-show and like it's so much worse. There's a lot less like things that go on. I thought that they had this entire split, this entire year. I think there was one segment where they brought Sven and they had like a board with like the fans voted the top like 10 80 carriers in North
Yeah.
America, and he was like below like Keith McBrief or something crazy like that. He was below FBA, he was below everyone. Sven was trying to cope with it, and then eventually he was like, oh, it's actually fake, like we're lying. That was like the one segment that I legitimately felt, hey, this is what I want to see. This is the direction you guys have been going to. Whereas I can remember last year, like I could name 10 different clips of like even before Mark Z became like, are you better than Doublelift? Or catching up with Doublelift was hilarious. They had like a Mundo dodgeball where like you were actively like there was one person throwing stuff at you while you were playing Mundo Dodge. Like they had so many cool segments.
Speedway.
Yeah, Science Speedway. It just feels like the investment is not there. Also, the casting. Like while I'm very happy with how the casters have improved, there's a clear difference of like they're just reusing the analyst desk as casters, and it almost feels like we can't get away from it. I don't think they're bad. I just enjoy it more when the casters are casting and you're not using Azael. Like I don't want to hear Azael play by play and color cast. While I think he's doing phenomenal at play by play, I'm not saying he's bad. It's just like it's a reduction in force, so now you have to have the analyst desk also casting. It feels more budget. It feels more like
It feels like
shoestring.
double duty.
Yeah, it feels like double duty. Like it doesn't feel the same that it did last year. And I'm not blaming it on the casters. I'm just like they're doing what they can, right? I'm not blaming it on the analysts, like the staff. I know from other sources like maybe this isn't the way that it was intended, like at the beginning of the year, but then the merger happened. Like I'm sure a lot of stuff happened where like you can't exactly have everything your way. So this is like the compromise.
No.
But it just the sentiment is really, really bad for LTA. Even though we finally have teams that can compete internationally, and it just like it doesn't matter because it's the format,
It's kind
the
of like, isn't
engagement.
it? That the second that our teams start becoming like half decent, the league goes down the toilet with it.
I feel so vindicated because so many people are like, just get better, bro. You guys haven't made it past semi-final. Like back in 2023, early 2024, you guys can't even make it out of groups. But like they just keep saying the same BS. The reason you guys don't have viewership is because you guys suck. And I'm like, Brazil has 3 times our viewership, but they don't have the what's it called? The international pedigree, nothing like that. And like, oh, but it's Brazil. The people care about the players and the teams. I'm like, why can't we do that? Why do we have to just win? And it's like, okay, we're winning now. Now what, huh? Where are the fans to watch when we're winning? Like, it's so stupid. But yeah, I don't know if NA is doomed or not, but it's a lot of bad signs. This year has been really bad for North American League. It's just been really bad.
Yeah, like, and the thing is, like, you knew Travis was out even before he was out. Like, just the decline in content, the regurgitation of the same topic, and then followed up by like an end of year interview with Riot. You just kind of knew like he was out. I would have thought he would have stuck around till North American Worlds next year, but
He might come back for it. I think
I
that's
guess
what he
when, like,
said. He might just come back for that specifically.
yeah, like in esports, you're never retired. Like, let's be completely honest with that. You're never out, so they will probably come back. Just like when you burn out, you burn out. Like, it's completely understandable. But I made the decision: do I keep trying to be a journalist, or like after my like positions at Dot, etc., like ran its course, do I try and stay in the scene or not? And I decided like I'm just gonna hang it up, and obviously I'm nowhere near the level of a Travis, like not even remotely close. It's gonna be interesting to see like how that void is like replaced. I don't think it will be. Like, to be completely honest, I don't think anyone at the moment is like completely like close to him in terms of the like community pool that he has, and like the respect gone from like the people in the scene.
Yeah, I think the void needs to be filled with team content. Like it really just needs to be teams engaging with the fans. And I know we've been saying this since like 2013. Well, 2016. I feel like that's when engagement kind of fell off. Maybe franchising. Either way, like things need to improve on the team end because this is your $1 million investments, like millions and millions of dollars of investments that are just the league is going to die, and what are you going to have to show for it? It's going to be your fault. Like, yes, Riot primarily, but like, you could have done so much more, and you didn't. And you knew that you should because we've been yelling at the top of our lungs. And yeah, I know David was talking about like how no one individual creator can really fill in the shoes for Travis, but it has to be like a collaboration of a bunch of creators and really create that environment, bringing in all the communities and trying to like rally behind North America. It's just so hard to rally behind North America when the people that we're rallying behind are just making decisions that we hate over and over and over. It just it really is hard. We had like just think of last year, last summer, 2024 summer. There were multiple episodes where Jat would just sit down with a pro player, with two pro players, and have them like face to face. I think it was called like head on or something like that, where the entire thing was like a 20-minute banter session because they were about to play. There was the one with JoJo and like APA, and APA was like, "You haven't made it international since I've been here," and he was like, "That wasn't because of you; it was because I was inting." And like, there's so many clips. There was one with Inspired and Jensen after Jensen joined Dig, and Inspired was like, "You're a vegan. What do you want me to do? How can I play with a vegan? How can I win?" Like there were so many efforts that they tried to do to get more engagement that worked, and then they cut budgets on the thing that
Yeah,
works.
and I don't see that getting better anytime soon. To be completely honest with you, I it's getting harder to like have faith that Riot have the intentions to make the league what it was. And like not even remote. And the thing is, they started to in 2024. A lot of people were saying this is the best I've felt about the LCS in a long time, and then
They killed it.
like
They're like,
it was in their
"You feel
last
good about the
split.
LCS?"
Yep. And the thing is, they didn't even keep anything like remotely. Like, if they were going to make like a break from the LCS, at least go gradually in terms of still keeping some of that content that you had from last year in. Like, the only thing we've got is pros, and the viewership on that's abysmal now. Like the dives completely fell off. I think that needs a complete revamp of who the analysts are for next year.
I don't think it'll matter. I think unless the direct, like, if people aren't watching
It feels
League, they're not going to
corporate
watch the
as well.
dive. What?
And like the dive feels more corporate now than like before. Before used to really have like the if you remember like the Zale and Jap, going back and forth on will Cloud9 make playoffs when they were, when they were doing like the whole benching situation.
Yeah.
And then it ended in Azale having to wear like the Cloud like hat because they predicted that, or Jack predicted that C9 make playoffs. You don't get that like real back and forth anymore. It's just one says one thing and then another one says another thing. There's no like discourse.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that I was mentioning of like if someone is going to come up with like a cold line league or whatever Ruddy was trying to or Don Jake was trying to pitch, it has to be people that disagree with each other because I feel like there's too many shows where everybody's just saying the same thing, and so like I think we need that Jat Azale dynamic where it's like we don't necessarily agree. And I think that's good. I don't think it's bad to disagree, but I think hashing things out on these kind of podcasts is actually good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I did wanna. There was a question actually in our Discord, which I'll put a link in the description. But there was a question in our Discord. I'm gonna actually read it now instead of at the end, which is normally why we'll do that because it kind of relates to this topic. The question is actually from Poppy, who just popped up in chat. He says, "What would be your first decision if you had the power, of course, to put the LCS back on track?" I'll let you go first.
The thing is, I don't think back on track is such a like that's like the golden egg, right? Like who knows what will actually bring the LTA back? But the thing that I would first address with LCS being back is like a revamp of the formats. Um, I would make them consistent across each split. You'd have to vary it for time constraints because in a couple like the split 1 and split 3, you have to have a shorter split because EWC break and like of how short like the time is between split 1 and first stand. But what I would do, and I think I even said this maybe to you the other day, is I would have like just single round robin best of 3 regular season with standard playoffs, but the way playoffs are seeded, and this would be a complete, by the way, break from the LTA merger, so not even including Brazil in this, is to have look best of 3 regular season, single round robin on weekends, but during the week you have a single elimination best of 1 playoffs. So you're getting in more games, and throughout the 7 weeks, it'd be a 7-week thing. Each round 1 matchup would be different from the last because you'd get to play every single matchup once, and you'd play for championship points for each split. So the championship points you accrue from these weekly tournaments, and then your regular season like performance will then be like tallied up, and then that's how you seed yourself for like playoffs, and then obviously you decide how like the seeding works for first stand and worlds. I think like while best of ones aren't the best, it provides you with more games. It gives you because let's be honest, like what value really is some of these LTA teams having in scrims anyways? Like just give them like competitive games. I'm not buying that teams are really improving in like scrims. Like 100 Thieves had what over a month off, and like you saw their performance in week 1. So like you don't really know if half these teams are actually even improving in scrims. So you may as well just have the stage games and give the fans like something to watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I'll do it. Like, it's not. I'm not saying that'd be perfect. I think the one problem I've had in this entirety as an LTA fan of a good team is that you don't actually get to see your team play a lot because if they're 3-0ing teams, like we were last split, we played like the lowest amount of games possible up until we started playing FlyQuest.
Or when
And it's the
Vulcan
same
was
for
gone, yeah, you had 3 games, but
the
besides that, it
middle
was
of the pack
2.
teams are the only teams that you actually get to see a lot of, really, because they're consistently like 2-1s, and then in best of 5s to play more games.
I mean, isn't it just a problem of the fact that like what the LPL does and what LCK is doing now is putting the top teams in one group and the bottom teams in one group. So the top teams are all playing against top teams. So you get a bunch of really, really hyper competitive games. And LCS
I will get
decided,
to that in the last topic.
yeah, the LCS decided, hey, why don't we do the opposite and have all the bottom teams play the top teams so we get the least amount of games possible and least excited. I think you went through format to like get LCS back to where it was. I actually completely disagree. I think format doesn't matter. I think like even if we had, okay, it matters a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it's so insignificant compared to what I think is the biggest problem, which is LTA and LCS just has a marketing problem. And like I was saying when I was talking to Chris Greeley, I think they took like even just the thing where like at the end of the day they would host a pro player and the pro player would continue streaming for a few hours afterwards. I know people had like, oh, why isn't it always to NACL or whatnot? I know there was like some discourse, but that like I watched more streams than normal
Your
because
mic's
of it.
playing up, by the way.
Oh, I watched. Maybe let me change the gain a little bit. Maybe that'll help. All right, maybe this will help. But yeah, I watched more streams last year than I did the entirety of this year just because of those like hosts.
That doesn't
raids.
sound. I think that sounds worse actually.
Okay.
When you had your like hand on it, like it sounds like normal.
When I do
But then
this,
as
it
soon as
sounds
you, like,
normal.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, I'll just keep talking. I don't know what's going on with my. Oh, maybe it's the cable. Let me do this. It's even worse. Oh no. It like I have the audio here. It shows that it's fine. Is it still not?
It sounds fine. It sounds fine now, like right now. It sounds
Okay,
fine.
I'll
let you know if you like it
I'll
worse.
keep my hand on it. Maybe it needs a little bit of comfort. It's having a tough night. Yeah. So I think even just that, I watched a lot more streams than I normally do of pro players. I think the pro players do stream; they just don't stream as much. I felt like last year they were really putting an effort, and even the beginning of this year they were putting an effort in streaming. I think if I was the LTA, I would mandate teams to have in their contract that they have to have some hours.
It's kind of again.
Okay, let me
Because like it's hard to
All right.
explain, but it kind of
Is
sounds
this-
like your base. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Is this any better?
I wouldn't touch it for now. Like in terms of hold it, I'd see like if you just
Okay.
leave it in where it is.
I'll
and
just
then
leave it like
talk,
this. Which is
It
weird.
sounds like how it used to be, like, which is perfect.
It just
This is
randomly
how it used to.
it just randomly started not working, huh?
Yeah, so like you were speaking, and then it sounded like it's getting louder and louder to the point where it's like muffled and distorted, like in some sections. So it's like it would come back, like come and then go away again.
Okay, maybe that just means it's time for a new mic because I've had this thing for years and years. Don't move. Okay, I'm not gonna move it. I'm not gonna move myself. But yeah, what I was saying is like I would have mandatory streaming hours for pro teams, and then I would like let's say I would have like in total 20 hours of streaming per week, and then I would have that if they stream their scrims. So if a team streamed their scrims, they only needed like their players 10 hours. And the streamed scrim would go into the pool. So if they streamed their scrims for like 5 hours, all of a sudden they only need 5 hours of scrims between all the players for the rest of the week. I would do something like that to incentivize streaming scrims and to incentivize streaming. I think I would do like a big marketing effort of having people like watch teams. I would highlight their stories and I would put money behind that. You know, I would find some sort of budget where I could actually get TikToks that do well and then take those TikToks that do well, put money behind them to put it in front of consumers who aren't watching League of Legends but would likely come back to watching it if they thought that there was something interesting. Like, for example, BLG versus FlyQuest was a very exciting matchup. I might make like a short that, you know, kind of highlighted some of the like back and forth and how close they were. Maybe an interview with the interview with Bippo afterwards where he kind of blames himself. And then like, you know, when FlyQuest eventually played Cloud9, I could use that and be like FlyQuest trying to redeem themselves in NA, something like that. I would heavily lean into short form content and then take that short form content and try to use that to push people into like reigniting them watching LCS. That alongside streams I know that Riot at some point was trying. I don't know if it happened or not, but Riot was trying to incentivize. Well, I know that it happened because they announced it publicly, where they said engagement is going to be something that they keep track of. So teams had to tweet or put out videos at a certain frequency, and if you don't, I think there was some sort of fine or so. I don't know what the punishment was, but that didn't seem to go anywhere. I would be stricter with saying, hey, teams, you need to be producing, you need players in your content or assigned content creator in your content. I think I would heavily incentivize. Actually, I wouldn't. I think teams would just assign content creators that are bad for them. So maybe not, but at least that I would have pro players streaming more often. I would incentivize the teams to like have highlights of those streams on their channels because that's something that is working right now. And then I would have just a marketing agency to maybe work with a marketing agency that knows what they're doing because clearly they don't, and have them focus on short form, developing that into long form, into your videos, into your pros, into your actual game days. That's what I would do. I would heavily focus on the marketing end, and then let the format team deal with whatever. We can work on format later, in my opinion.
I think the problem like players have when they stream is they're so corporate and boring. Like some of these players, like they don't even interact like during like the long at the long queue times. They're not interacting, they're not doing something. If I was like streaming and there's like a 15-20 minute queue, I'm playing like a different game, like a puzzle game, like GeoGuessr. Like imagine just like think of like a not like a big player that could like maybe be like interesting.
I mean, Saint streams pretty consistently,
Right.
so
But,
you can
like,
use him as an
imagine
example.
like just like hypothetically like him doing GeoGuessr, get an editor, like hire an editor. Because I know different game, but Oxy for Cloud9's Valorant team, he has his own editor for TikToks, and he has like 200k followers on TikTok. Like he does like an insane amount of work. And I know these top pros earned enough that they'd be able to hire an editor to do like stream content.
I mean, I do think that highlights is very important. Like, take out like the highlights of the moment because like Saint, he might be streaming and not really interacting, but he might have like 3 to 5 good moments per stream. That's enough for a whole week of TikToks, right? Not everybody is going to
You
be,
only need one
like a
game.
sneaky.
You only need one game to make like a good piece of content.
Yeah, you can. So that's why I just think that they should incentivize. Maybe I'd even make it so that 3 out of 5 players each week have to stream at least 2 hours, like something like that, where like players have to stream. It's not like have one pro player like Sven, for example, who doesn't mind streaming. Like he's just the only one that streams. I would make it that like 3 out of 5 have to stream. That way, like sure, Masu, he doesn't even know how to turn on his camera on stream. Like maybe he doesn't end up streaming, but you have Busio, you have Quad streaming, you had Inspired, streaming, you have Bwipo. You get the people that you want, and like Poppy's saying in chat, he got into pro play because pro players were streaming, and that like I would bet that a large number of 2012 to or 2013 to 2017, I would bet a large number of people that got into League was because of pro players streaming and posting onto YouTube, and then they see that and then they watch the pro games. Like I would bet that the number is not insignificant. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 40% or higher, which is, imagine we had 40% growth year over year for our league, or maybe not year over year, but like just grow the league 40%. A lot better than losing 40%. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, like some of my like favorite moments were the sneaky Korea streams when we would go and boot camp in Korea, and he would just interact. Like, there's a video, like a very famous video of the entire Samsung team picking up sneaky for a flex queue game. And
yeah, it was pretty
absolutely,
funny.
they were like, it was like it's in broken English, and it's just like hilarious because they were all trying to speak how like Sneaky used to speak back then, and like he was teaching them like all the terms that he would use. Is like, hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, those were some of it. There was one with Double Lift, I think in 2016 he went, and it was with I think the T1 players at that time or SKT at that time. I think there was like 3 SKT players and 1 I think Samsung player. Maybe it was Mata actually. I don't know, but it was like a mix of teams, and it was so much fun to see on his channel. It's probably still there, but him just playing with like a support that's like 10 times better than Firefrost, and just like his top laner is a world champion, is playing with freaking I don't think it was Faker mid, but it was someone else. It's just like okay. I think it was like Awful Bang, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was just such a fun thing to watch. And we're not gonna get that because we don't stream to begin with, so that's what I would do. I think that brings interest into games. But we can talk about format because your go-to was format, and maybe you can talk about
the second topic or third.
That's the second. We can skip around to the third if you want, but
so which one's format? Is it third? I can't remember which order we put it in.
We have it as second right now, but we could switch it to third if you want.
We could maybe do. Yeah, let's keep format.
Okay. All right. So I will say I will give props to the format where it deserves. I thought the way they had the banner choosing was so much fun. Like that banter was so
especially
good.
because I'm rewatching Game of Thrones right now. It clicks. Like it felt like it's part of that universe. It's so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was so much fun. I had very low hopes. Sorry, not high hopes. I had low hopes, but I was like, dude, you could do such cool things with this. Please, like, don't make it be like, oh, we pick him. Okay, move on. And I even went back to like the split 1. You had to also kind of pick your opponents. And I was like, if they just do something like that, that was already fun. Just do something like that. You don't have to go like crazy. You already have a format that worked. But I thought they knocked it out of the park. I thought the music that they had, the background, that like it gave chills. And then I thought just the banter, XU was like a great pick. Whoever picked the leaders did a great job. I thought XU was someone who like will talk smack. Fudge like trying to fight back and be like, well, we're kind of getting destroyed. Every day is a horror at Shopify. So like, I don't really remember, you guys beat us. They beat us. Everybody beat us. So who cares? We're still going to beat y'all. I thought that was really funny. Jack and being super respectful, was like, I don't want to mess anything up and get fined or something. Like, was hilarious.
As an owner, what can he really do? He can't just sit there talking shit.
I respect Isles so much. I think Dignitas is a great team, and I think it's going to be a very competitive match. And then when he was like, yo, Jack, what do you think Blabber would say? It's like, I have no idea what Blabber would say. I just know that he would say thank you to all the fans. It's like, oh, come on, man. Blabber would be like, bro, it's going to be so easy.
So easy to...
Exactly. Like, easy to... thank you, next. And I thought they did a great job. Besides that, I thought the format sucks.
I was gonna say that's where the good parts end.
That's where the good parts end. I'll go first because I think you went first on the Poppy question. I think the problem with the format, I actually disagree with you that we should have consistent formats. I think the format that you suggested is not bad. I'm not gonna say like, oh, I hate it. My issue is, one, the format's too complicated. Any time where you have pro players week 1, oh, actually pro players are another thing, whatever. Any time where you have people who've been watching the league for so long, like who are completely invested, have no idea how are still confused about how the format works. Myself, David Shynock, like it just, what's up?
I said we still are. We're still like sitting here like working out all the math for it.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. The same thing applies for just, I don't know why you want bad games at the beginning of your split. I think my guess is that Riot looked at historical data. Week 1, you get a huge spike and then you start trending downwards. And they're like, how do we reverse that? How do we just like start off and then go up instead of going down? And like, well, if you have bad matchups and slowly get better matchups, viewership should slowly increase. Maybe that was something they talk about. Maybe it's not. I just like, that's my best guess of why they would do something like that. I just think it's ridiculous that the first 3 weeks, like the loser of 4th, 5th game is completely and entirely screwed. Because guess what? 100 Thieves are going to end up, if everything goes according to plan, are going to end up playing Team Liquid, FlyQuest, and Cloud9. as their first 3
Yeah.
games. Whereas
And they're going to lose
DSG,
all 3.
yeah, whereas what's it called? Uh us Shopify, who finished 3rd, not 4th or 5th, are gonna end up playing DSG, Lion, and Disguised. That is
That's
way too much of a
crazy.
reward. That is way too much of a reward. That's why I was saying when we were doing our predictions. It's like I don't know how I can predict this because there's no balance in the schedule, in the strength of schedule. 100 Thieves schedule is so screwed. They play Team Liquid and FlyQuest. They're gonna be 0-2. We're gonna be 2-0, and we play DSG and Dig. Like, come on.
The problem is, Cloud, is so I'll firstly respond very quickly to the point I was making about like consistent formats. If you were someone that came into the league this split and you were you are someone who's the best team, like how can you really tell like as like even like gameplay wise, like Flacco's obviously like played the probably like second best this week, but how can you really have like a gauge of like who's the best teams and who's
Again, you know what? I'll just turn it down on
I
OBS.
thought it was fine, but actually, to be fair, I did turn you down on Discord.
Okay, I turned it down on OBS. Maybe that works. Is this any better?
Sounds fine to me.
All right.
I feel bad that David always pops up when we're talking about like 100 Thieves and like records. That's
I mean,
not
he
even
was
like
pretty
his fault.
pissed as well.
I
Rightfully
would be
so.
too.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, like, imagine like 100 Thieves made like mass changes to their roster, and like, how do you prepare your roster if you're playing these these 3 teams in the first 3 weeks, and then you're in a do or die best of 5 to save your split?
By the way, 3rd seed is actually the best because you end up playing I get because you end up playing 6th, 7th, and 8th. Pretty
Because
much.
we played Lion, who may have been a challenge with Zamudo, probably still not. I don't think that would have like done anything. We're playing Dig, and then so the thing is, we haven't
It's like
actually played.
Beetlejuice.
Okay, yeah. David's 5 minutes behind.
Oh, okay.
Um, we're not playing like a bottom team. Like we're not playing a DSG or wait, who was the 7th place team?
It was Lion. Lion was 7th.
Really?
I mean, you were 2nd
Yeah,
seed. You had to play 7th seed. It was just 1 through
yeah,
1, 8 to 7.
yeah, of course. Actually, I completely forgot the line finished 7th. That's embarrassing. Considering like they played, they didn't feel like a 7th place team, really. But the problem is how do you gauge these teams going into a do or die playoffs? It's not fair. I don't think. I don't enjoy like the lopsided matchups. Um like even for even for C9 and FlyQuest, these are so boring to watch. Like I did not go back and watch. Like normally I go back and watch like the highlights, watch the co-streams. We stomped them so like outside of the very first fight in the first game, the series was not close. The FlyQuest one was slightly closer, but even then it's like whatever. So like just having a single best of 3 for like the very good teams is a problem in itself, and it's why I kind of suggested having like an extra weekly tournament instead of
Yeah.
like your scrim days. Because then at least you're playing for something. I know, right? Wouldn't do like the weekly money like you'd have in Call of Duty, but I like the format they play.
I think just give us the top 4 are in a group, the bottom 4 are in a group, and then 6 teams make it to playoffs. You have the top 4 and then the top 2 of like the bottom 4. So in the bottom 4, the bottom 2 get eliminated, and then the top 2, so like 5 and 6, play against 3 and 4 to find out who's in double elim and who isn't once the groups are over. And then you have 1, 2, like obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, they get the
That was
bye,
another
and
thing.
just yeah.
That was another thing. Sorry to cut you off. Why is Split 2 factoring into these games? Because if
For
FlyQuest,
seeding,
Cloud9, Shopify, and TL all go 6-0, as in like 3-0 in series score, 6-0 in
which is
game score,
expected, yes.
you like the way I just listed it, it goes like the exact same. So why is FlyQuest getting quote unquote an easier match when they have the same series scores, the same game score with us, but because they beat us in a finals last split, they're above us? Like, how are you determining that? And I'm
I
not saying
agree.
like I think we beat Liquid anyways, but like imagine for you who this is what I'm saying it's so bullshit because you 3-0, yes, you're playing shit team, like you're playing actual shit teams. Compared to like 100 Thieves or like TL or FlyQuest. Actually, to be fair, like the rest of the top teams will have to play 100 Thieves if like the expected. But so in a way, the other three teams can argue, well, we played a harder like set of games where you had Disguised, Dig, right? You played Dig? Yeah, you played.
Yeah, we played Dig when we're playing Disguised, and then chances are, because of how it works, Disguised and Dig can't pick us. Lion is gonna look. They're like, "Do we want to play FlyQuest or do we want to play Shopify?" Huh.
And the thing is, do you know why it would have gone against your point about Riot trying to make the viewership go up later in the split? Because Inspired said on pros that if them or C9 would have lost, they would wanted the other team to pick the other just for like banter and just to fuck everything up. That would have been like hype.
Yeah, but I think a
It's just
format that relies on upsets is relying on upsets. Like those are upsets because they don't happen all the time. So I think you should have a format that relies on if everything goes to plan, you get really cool matches. And if upsets happen, it's still cool because it's an upset.
the problem is this bullshit's going on in a qualification for your biggest tournament of the year. So while everyone else is like ramping up, we're doing for fun tournament. That's basically what we're doing.
I mean,
Like we're
right now
having
we're
like
not
for
the third
fun.
best team. Shopify is clearly the fourth best team. Like Team Liquid looked way better than we did this week. But we're gonna be the same score
And
and
even
we're gonna get
then,
a higher seed because we
exactly.
beat them last split. So
And but then again, you get to play FlyQuest and we get to play TL. Like
well,
it's
that's based on like FlyQuest picking, right? It's not gonna be based on FlyQuest get to pick
right, but
third or fourth. So
they're
like
clearly gonna like, they're clearly gonna pick you guys as well.
yeah,
Let's be honest.
unless like week 2 and 3, like Team Liquid look absolute trash, like they're just gonna pick us again, and chances are we're gonna finish third again because of the way the format is. And it's like it's not because Team Liquid aren't better than us. It's just because we had better
I mean,
luck,
at
I
least that
guess.
qualifies you to playoffs, right?
Oh yeah, that does. Actually, no, we're gonna have to play Team Liquid. I think for the third place, but
Yeah.
we'll have an easier
Because I
time
think we
getting
beat
there.
TL.
So
I think we beat TL in the. I'm gonna call it the NA playoffs. I ain't calling it the
LTA
LTA
North.
Championship. Yeah, I'm just gonna say the NA playoff section. Like,
I mean, they do
um,
separate LTA North Championship and LTA Championship. I think it's LTA North Playoffs and then LTA Championship. I think that's how they separate it.
do you know how wild it is though? Like, they could have easily just like I don't fully agree with like people wanting us to like completely just copy other leagues because like everyone I think should have a little bit of their own flair to it. But you could have copied the LCK in a way that you put the top four, put the bottom four, and like I think suggested this to you or David, I think, is that whoever finishes fourth in like the top group and whoever finishes first in the bottom group
Oh,
then play a best of three to see if they want like if they swap. So like the
that's what I
team
was
that
saying. Except not just
yeah
the fourth and fifth, but like the bottom two and the top two, they have to play.
yeah. I was thinking just the fourth and fifth because I think like if you're top three, you're kind of like you're already proven that you're like if you're in
In
that
a
top
10
group
in a
already,
10 team league, sure, but in a 8 team league, that just means you're better than 3 teams. Like You were better than
Mm,
one team in your group. That's all it means. It just means you won the best of three. Like that's it. You won one best of one, the best of three.
yeah. But then if you're fourth, that likely means you either went 1-2 or 0-3, and like, do you really deserve to be in that top group anyways? Like the assumption would be like you're closer in skill to the team that finishes like fifth, right?
Well, I mean, sure. You could have also had a bad day where, like Vulcan, for example, there was that week where you guys almost lost to Lion because Vulcan had like a
Yeah,
funeral, right?
we almost started off in lower bracket because of the whole like Vulcan personal matters week.
Yeah. So like it could happen where something happens. Like,
Or we just do a regular season.
I mean, look, again, I'm down for different formats. I'm down for group formats. I'm down for a lot of things. Like, that's fine. I just don't like it when the format doesn't give us good games. Give us Flycast versus Cloud9. Give us Team Liquid versus Shopify. Even if we lose, I
But this
want
is
to see
why I
those
always
games.
feel. This is why I feel for summer. You have to play it safe. I think with the other two splits, you can experiment. But I'm so tired of seeing these constant changes year on year. Like, yes, it got stale. Like in like our prime years of watching when we were like TSMC 9 fans, and it was just you knew what exactly you was getting. You was getting 18 games of best of ones into a single elimination playoffs, and that was it. Each and every split. And I'm not saying yeah, we have to return to best of ones. I'm definitely not. But I do think, yeah, the England women's team won the Euros.
Oh, wow. Back to back
It's a
as
shame our
well.
men's team's garbage, but
I mean, it's the same thing in the US. Our men team garbage and our like women's teams like
okay, we're not
doing
garbage. It's just like we always finish like a spot below where we actually should finish.
yeah, I think your men's team is a lot better than our men's team, to be honest. But
I
still,
mean,
the
like
gap
to
between
be
the women
honest
and
with you,
men's team is very, very big.
like yeah, no, we signed the best women's coach in the world, who's won 3 European championships in a row.
Oh,
Like the
wow.
last
Okay.
3 Euros, and she's never not been in a final. Every single international event she's been in as a coach, and for England, we've never not been in a final.
Dang. All right.
We've lost both World Cup finals, but won both European finals.
I'm an England fan. We're just chokers. But yeah, back to the topic again. I agree with you that some formats are like bad and consistency is nice, but when the global ecosystem is like consistently changing and you have to change your formats because
You
now
do
we're
have to
adding
change, I
international
agree.
events, like I'm okay with you experimenting. I'm not against it, but
It
just
just always feels that our format is the worst of the four that are. Like,
I
I
thought last
hate
year
the
our format was
LCK.
better than
I actually
you.
dislike. I don't dislike the like they've grouped the top teams and the bottom teams in the LCK. I don't like that Gen G starts with an absurd record where you can't actually catch up.
Yeah, we tried
Because I
that and
think
we
they
were
were
like, it
saying
doesn't
they're
work.
saying that D plus Kia can lose every single game and they're still finishing first in their group because their record's that much better than
The
like, the rest
bottom
of their
three,
group.
yeah, bottom 5 or 4 teams. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So
I think I think experimentation is fine, but the format has to give us good games. It can't not like we can't not have FlyQuest versus C9 in the first 3 weeks. We're going to have only one good series in the first 3 weeks because 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest and Cloud9. I'm sorry, David, but like they're gonna get crushed. The only like technically close one that on in theory is 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid, and unfortunately it was a
I was
2-0.
about to say that.
But
That was
like
the only one that's like half decent
one
in
matchup in
this
the first
entire
three
week.
weeks.
Yep.
What are we doing? And then we're into playoffs.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. I'm a fan of the idea. If they reversed it and they made it so like the immediately just top four, bottom four, and then the bottom like FlyQuest got to, not FlyQuest, Shopify, Team Liquid. Team Liquid was fourth. Team Liquid got to pick between us and Cloud9 and FlyQuest, and you did it like two groups, and then the lower one gets to pick, and then obviously like let's say we lose next week, we get to pick between FlyQuest and Cloud. I think that would be better than having 8 teams and then having like the bottom teams always playing. I think you would pretty much guarantee FlyQuest versus Cloud9 in week 1, and then you'd guarantee FlyQuest and Cloud9 playing a top 4 team the first 3 weeks and getting their hot matches out of the way. And if they win, guess what? They get a bye. If they lose, guess what? They're still in the top because they're playing against the better teams, and you're rewarding them for playing against them. So that's just how I see it.
I just prefer even competition. Like, I prefer everyone playing everyone. I don't enjoy. Like, why should we benefit because we were a top team last split, and why should DSG be absolutely screwed over because they're like not very good team?
Well, because it's not being absolutely screwed over. It's actually like not that bad if you think about it. Because like, would DSG rather play Team Liquid, FlyQuest, and Shopify, or would they rather play Dignitas Lions and 100 Thieves? I'm pretty sure they'd rather play the other one.
Well, to be fair, DSG have played 2 of the top 3 teams from last split. They're going to be playing 2 of the top 3 from last split. They played FlyQuest and then they're playing you,
Yeah,
which
so
is.
I think if you watch the LPL, the format allows the bottom team, like EDG for example, if it was a full 16 team roster, 14 teams playing against each other, EDG would have a much worse record, but they're 4-0 because they're beating up on the worst teams and kind of proving that they can maybe challenge an NIP or an FPX or whoever ends up being on the bottom of that top, like the top group. And I just think it gives us better matches, like more even matches, more hype matches, and maybe it works a little bit better when you have 16 teams rather than 8. But this format ain't it.
Yeah.
This format ain't it.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know what would have been actually thinking about it now? What would have been a really interesting thing? You know how we were saying, I was suggesting before, like the 5th place team plays 4th?
Yeah.
What made it really interesting is if the 5th place team, or the top team from the second, like the worst group, gets to choose their opponent, and whatever team, if they beat them, they take their seed in playoffs. So like, it's yes, competitive, like integrity, like it. But do you know how insane it would be? Like, you either say to yourself, right, do I pick Team Liquid and try and just secure my upper bracket? Or do I choose a FlyQuest and C9 and I try and secure, like, 5th seed is locked, but do I try and, like, basically go for like double or nothing and try and get like a 1st or 2nd seed in playoffs?
I think that format would be extremely hype when it hits, but I think the likelihood of hitting is very low. And like I was saying earlier, I would rather a format that gives us consistently better games, rather than a format that depends on upsets and like a team. Like, let's say 100 Thieves are playing like gods, and they're like, you know what, we can beat FlyQuest. We beat you in split 1. We beat you in split 2. Split 1 twice. We can do it again. Sure, maybe that happens, but like, I would rely on a format that doesn't rely on.
This would be a good split 1 format. I think this would be an interesting split 1 format, not split 3 when we're trying to determine which is the best teams we're going to send to again compete against LTA South, who are actually apparently I haven't checked. Apparently they're getting like the top teams face each other.
I honestly, I can't. I didn't watch.
There's better matchups.
I didn't watch last week, so I have no idea. I only watched.
Yeah.
Maybe they had an upset, and then Riot's gonna look at that. It's like, that's what's supposed to happen. It's like, why are we relying on upsets? When it works, it works. But any format where you have upsets is gonna be awesome. That's my thing. So, I mean, we can move on to just. I guess we kind of discussed a little bit about what happened in week 1, maybe our predictions for week 2. But yeah, you can go first on this one.
We're just gonna go like series by series.
Up to you if you just want to group them up. If you like, whatever.
We can talk about the teams, like kind of a little bit about last week. while previewing the series from this week. We can start with 100 Thieves Fly. What a fucking mess. Like, in a way, like, I just feel bad. In a way, I feel like when it rains, it pours for 100 Thieves fans. Their team's leaving. They don't give a shit. Like, management don't give a shit. And now they have to face the three best teams in the league and then get bonked out. They played disgustingly bad. I think that's like one of the worst series I've played. I've seen FBI play like the anti-casual meme. That's gonna
Dude,
stick with them
there's
now.
something going on with 100
If
Thieves. Like, the
even,
environment must be complete trash for the players to be playing like that.
yeah, like you can't even compare them to Lost Fit. They just look significant. And I don't even think Team Liquid looked amazing in game one. They looked. In game one, I was ready to like close the curtains. I even tweeted during game one, I was like, "Yeah, this is a two-team league," and I still believe that. Because Team Liquid looked so disjointed in game one. The Impact and Core were absolutely turbo sprinting it, and like I was even like saying, like I feel sorry for UG because I don't think he has the best solo laners to be like coming into like such a precious split for a rookie. I mean, like, how can you even judge Fly as well? This is what like I think the problem with the format is we don't even know what level these top teams are playing at because they're playing against garbage teams.
I mean,
I think they
Fly
look
literally
fine.
subbed in a 17-year-old to play for them.
I think
Top lane.
Jakos looked kind of what you expected. Completely raw. Did not have a fun time in that game at all. They completely turbo camped him.
And it
Like
didn't
he
matter.
struggled with the lane swaps, but like I mean, at the end of the day, I think they could have won that game 4v5. It didn't really matter.
They did win that game 4v5. It's just, it was disguised. Like, what do you
Exactly.
expect?
Yeah. I thought Disguised in game one looked a little better than what they have. It's just like you're playing FlyQuest, so what can you really take from that?
Yeah.
Do you want to start with TL Lion?
Honestly, I'm just gonna group all of them and be like, it's gonna be 2-0s. The higher seed is gonna win 2-0. Like, it's just, I'm not excited for any of the matchups. I'm excited for Shopify to play. Don't get me wrong, I want to see my team play. But like, these are all just gonna be swift 2-0s, right? Like, every game is gonna finish in under 28 minutes. I don't see any like close games like 100 Thieves versus Fly that we could be like excited for. It's gonna be a stomp all around. Probably worse than week one. What do you
Probably.
think? Yeah.
I also think 2-0s across the board. Like even if Lion had Samudo, I think people are putting too much like weight on what what he can do. I think he's a promising player, but you have to let people get their feet under. And unfortunately, this type of split does not provide any opportunity for a young player to get their feet under them.
If Surdy,
So
this is what I've been saying. If Surdy wasn't able to carry Dig, Zamudo ain't gonna be carrying Lion. Like, don't expect magic to happen.
this is the problem I have with like any young player that's coming through is people think they are immediately at the level of even like a Photon. Like they are seasoned players, right? They've been playing in this league they've been playing professional a long time. And even they're gonna struggle, right? I think he looked okay. I mean, the problem is he's going up against, in my opinion, the best top laner in the league.
Yeah.
Um like on C9 very quickly. I don't know how Loki did not get player of the week. It's absolutely absurd. They
Who
get
got
Yon.
it?
They gave Yon player of the week.
I mean, Yon kind of. Okay, Yon had a more difficult
He
opponent and
had
he got a
40
smurf.
KDA. He had a
What?
40 KDA.
Dude,
Look, he had a
you were playing
10
a
plus
team that
kill
had a
game.
sub. You were playing the seventh. Like, again, the strength of schedule matters, I think. Like, you're playing against an LA team, man.
Based on the level of 100 Thieves, though, like, where are they at? Like,
I think 100 Thieves are significantly better than the other three teams that are below them.
probably. But it depends, like, if they're actually turbo mental boomed.
I mean, you have Sniper playing Scion. I don't know. It doesn't look good.
That's what I mean. You looked at him and he was like, this kid looks completely
River is
checked
still
out.
smurfing. Like River is still
I think
smurfing. So like there's
River and
that.
Quid are trying to carry a dead body, basically.
3 dead bodies, yeah.
And like the problem is these guys are meant to be playing for their lives. Like FBI, I struggle to see him getting a spot in the league next season.
I mean, maybe he turns it back, but yeah, after what we saw last weekend, it's
I mean,
getting scary.
I worry for Sniper, to be honest with you. I don't think he gets a top team next split.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but
It depends on like the team coming in, what they want to do.
I mean, look, Sniper's gonna look bad because he's gonna play against Thanatos and Buppo next. Like, I don't know. And then you have
That's
like
not
freaking Zamudo who gets to play against, you know.
That's if
I
he
guess
even
the
gets to
top 4
play
teams
next
all have good
this
top
week.
laners, so it's not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm not like I said, I'm not excited for week 2. Week 3 is going to be all same. I think I'm just going to predict 2-0s for the top teams and 0-2s for the bottom teams. And then starting week 4, chances are we're going to have FlyQuest playing against us, Shopify, and then Team Liquid C9. I think those are going to be 2-0s. And then we're going to have finally in week 5, we're going to have our one good series, or our 2 good series of Team Liquid versus Shopify and FlyQuest versus Cloud9. So just hold your breath for another 4 weeks. Yeah.
Have to wait a whole month to play a good team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll play Shop, but we're a good team. We're just not a great team. I think FlyQuest and Cloud9 are great teams. You'll play. You have to wait. Yeah, 4 weeks. You're right. You have to wait a month. Yeah. No. That just sounded ridiculous to me. I'm like, no. You'll play a good team early. Wait a second.
No. Like before we play a team of what I think's our level, it's actually going to be over a month. It's absurd.
It'll be 5 weeks. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I don't think TL are going to be us. It may be closer. Don't get me wrong. It's just the Sunderland still don't look great, and that's what worries me for them. And Corden looked amazing. Yon's still Yon, right? Like he was never the problem, even when they were like last split. I just think we're just a cut above everyone not named FlyQuest.
Hopefully, you'll get to prove it. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just you would want to prove it on stage, you know. But yeah, we can.
Go on. Sorry. And then I don't.
We do have one more question for Q&A. The question's from Beans. He says, worst player who's won Worlds 2015 or later? Immediately my mind goes to Duke because he was pretty bad. The thing is, a lot of players when they won Worlds were really good, but now they could be later on. Like Ghost, for example, was like what the team needed.
I was about to say Ghost has probably the biggest fall off of like the.
Oh no! Fall off Beryl or Pioshik. Like those two had way bigger fall offs in my opinion.
Well, no, but look at where they're Okay, like I know Pioshik's on a 1-18 team.
They're the worst team in the entire league.
Ghost is in the ERL, dude. Like Ghost is in tier 2. And he's won. Like you should never be in tier 2 when you've won
tier 2 after winning Worlds. If that's like a defining thing, and Crown was at some point one of the best mid laners in Korea. So
I wouldn't class the LCS as tier 2.
No, he went to Brazil, dude. Or
Turkey. Dude, I was memeing.
Okay.
Because you said tier 2, and I was like, he was in the LCS.
Yeah. No, I think like Ghost was never elite. There were games where like Beryl was like one of the best supports. There were games where like Pioshik was one of the best junglers. Ghost never was one of the best AD carries. Never. He just wasn't hinting. That's all they needed. Like a stable Jhin player who can stand back.
He was a stable player.
Yeah. I still think Duke, because like he didn't do much on T1. He kind of got carried. He went on to IG, only got playing time because the Shy was like, being the Shy. And like even when he played, I'm pretty sure he lost every single game he played and won 2 world championships that way. So I feel like he might be the worst player to like completely not even deserve it. maybe his SKT time, sure, he did play
Like he
fine,
played
but
a lot, but like Blank really like as soon as he left the SKT like system, really took a turn for the worst.
no, Duke, not
But
Blank.
he was pretty. No, I'm talking about Blank.
Oh,
I'm
Blank.
saying like he was pretty good for T1. But I was actually thinking this today, like completely like different topic in some ways. But has like because was me and like in the C9 Discord we were talking about Berserker like 1 and 19 or whatever it is. Like has all of most players that actively choose to lose C9, like leave C9, their careers fall off a cliff the second that they do. I was thinking about like if you think like contracts, completely his career took a turn for the worst. Like Licorice took a turn for the worst. Jensen the second time round, he could have stayed for money. Like he could have stayed. Sorry, on like we wanted to keep him after we won our championship in 2022, and we would have won it. He would have been another champion in 2023, and then he didn't. Went to Dig, and Dig happened. He did end up back on FlyQuest. Who else?
I mean, look,
Obviously, Berserker
Impact.
chose to.
I think
No, I'm saying
Impact
like
and what's his name? Impact and Jensen are like the biggest ones. Ray also left and had like a little bit of success in LPL, but then like kind of crashed out.
I
Um,
think it's like 50-50 on like.
Vulcan had pretty good. Like he won on EG, obviously.
I think we
Uh,
let him. I think we decided to move on from Vulcan and after the 2020 season.
he was still there 2021.
Yeah, no, sorry, after the 2021 because him and Sven did not get along.
Yeah, Perks was a disaster. Like Perks came back to EU and couldn't win a single thing. Uh,
See, like it's kind of like 50-50. Like your career either turns like you win everything after you leave, or
yeah,
you go on a complete downfall. There's no like middle tier player.
yeah, but I
Um,
think to Bean's question, I'm taking it as like who's the worst person that won, not who won and then became bad. Because there are players who are good and then like when they won, like Crown, and then just weren't good afterwards. And I think it's just Duke. I think Duke was the worst person to win, or Ghost. It's one of those two.
I
Um,
think I was gonna suggest Ghost.
I think 2018 all the players were good. 2019 was FPX. I think all those players were good. 2020 was the Ghost year.
No one.
Ghost Barrel, right? Showmaker, Canyon, Nuguri. And then 2021 was EDG. I think all those players are phenomenal, like Viper. 2022 was the
Yep.
DRX players. Again, Barrel, Pioshik, Zeka, obviously multiple time champion now. And even Kingen was like pretty good. Then you have 2023, all the I mean, 2023, 2024 is just T1 players. I think they're all really, really good. So I think 2015 and after would have to be. I feel like it's just Duke. It could be maybe Ghost is the safe answer, but I'm gonna go Duke because I really think that guy was just overrated, and he really did nothing for T1. He was just stable. That's all he was, and I think Ghost at least was better than Duke was. All right, I think those are all the questions that we
Yeah.
had.
Yeah, that's all the questions.
Anything else you want to shout out? Obviously, shout out to our Discord. I'll put a link in the description. As soon as this episode's over, shout out to our new channel where we're going to be uploading and streaming all
Yes,
of
that's what I was
these.
about to say.
Starting next week, I'm actually going to have a banner being like, if you're watching this here, go watch it over there. Because we do want to like solidify all of the podcast content onto one place instead of just having it on my channel where I have a bunch of other stuff that's going on. So yeah, make sure to follow that channel. I'll put the link in the description as well. Shout out, I have a UG interview that's coming out tomorrow. Shout out to that. Shout out to Shopify because they had a pretty good video that came out. Still waiting for their content this week. I think they had a couple tweets, but that like kind of took precedent over content because they were like kind of sad announcements. But I think they have some stuff coming out. Yeah, I think that's all the shout outs for me.
What I want to shout out? Shout out to the C9 pod. Like that's returned weekly. pretty quick. The only the problem they had is that they recorded it immediately following their series on Saturday, so they they were predicting the next day series, but they released it on Monday. Which to be fair, very quick turnaround. So not too fast, but problem with this format because they were all predicting that they were playing DSG, and then they actually played Dig. I don't know how, where they mapped that, but
they didn't know that they didn't know that DSG get to pick first.
yeah,
They thought it was based
which
on
is
game
another problem
time.
with the format.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was just DSG gets to pick first.
There you go.
But yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you again next week for another episode, and hopefully no more tragic news.